This is a poem that broke a levee system on August 29th, 2005 in the southeast of Louisiana. This is a poem that transformed houses into water bottles and filled lungs with the Atlantic because it thought that families and children were thirsty enough.
This is a poem that cannot bring justice to my family in Iran, but perhaps between the stanzas we can find a glimpse of hope. Perhaps between metaphors and similes we can reignite the memories of why the youth are being tortured for an idea.
Katrina. When the rescue teams arrived, the remnants wondered who came quicker, the storm or the saviors. This is a poem that knows the truth about why 500,000 families were displaced, 200,000 jobs were lost, and one city was damaged. This is a poem that sticks to ribs like a belly full of chocolate pudding, but there is nothing sweet about disaster.
God's gonna trouble the water.
God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
These words were meant to sing a ballad of justice, stitched between the harmonic beats of two fingers in the air, but our voices got lost in the melody somewhere, forced behind bars, bodies tortured into corpses, legs and arms contorted by hits by besiegees. Our people have never had a glimpse of what it means to be free. The ruins.
The ruins can only reflect all that has ruined the lives of the people who once lived there. Can you imagine not being able to call your family? Not because you forgot their phone number, but because a storm ripped away their telephone lines. Can you imagine not knowing if their corpses are somewhere mixed in between the debris, or if they've become relocated refugees living on the other side of the sea? You see, they never got to see the eye of the storm, but they say her face looks a lot like genocide.
This poem is for the Philippines. I know what it's like to feel like yesterday's news, papers thrown to the side of the room, because we can only understand tragedy until the news coverages disappear. I know what it's like to feel like no one can hear your cries, when your tragedy is used as an excuse to socialize while they sip their morning lattes and read fragments of your story. This is a poem for Haiti.
This is a poem for Haiti. For the little babies who gather fragments of the sun ray and pack it behind their pupils. I will never forget your light. Even when CNN finds a new news trend, I will remember you. As if you were sewn into the walls of my skull. And just like that hand-me-down sweater that my grandmother gave to me and her grandmother gave to her, I will keep you alive, no matter how old the fabric of your tragedy becomes. God's gonna trouble the water. This is a poem for all the catastrophes we couldn't fit into 3 minutes. 6 metaphors,
9 similes.
This poem is not for tens, but it's for millions.